the prospects that I'm talking to in Spain, they said that the translations are like really good. So I just want to show sort of about what I'm doing on Instagram, because I'm learning so much every day about how to use social media as a tool to connect with people and to grow the business and to do prospecting. And I've really learned for myself that simply using the social media in terms of sharing your own stories and interacting with other people's stories and communications is actually one of the best ways of prospecting, is simply by engaging with other people on social media, and mainly through like the stories. So a lot of times with many of these people, like this woman, little Ramon, she's a she's a CrossFit person from a city called Surabaya in Indonesia, and we have stayed in communication quite a bit. Oh gosh. And one of the best ways that I find is simply by interacting with people's stories. Like here's another one, Tasha. She does F45. I do F45. There's just a lot of things that we have in common. So like this, for example, like I would just write like, are you having a photo shoot there? Like just little things like this I go through each day, and all the people that I'm building relationships with, good God, I will message them. So like Ian is he's in our USANA business. So I message him every day just to sort of let him know that I'm watching, and I'm liking what he's doing. Jemima's in our business. So I will message her on, most days, and let her know that I'm interacting with her stuff. So these stories is a really powerful way to stay connected with all the people that are in your feed, right? So if you're talking to them every day, you're building that connection. It can very easily turn into a conversation later, right? So I will show you that Tashi. So I'm always sort of interacting here, and then you can see like she's talked to me a lot about nutrition and her stance on fitness, and so that led me into asking her. I asked her, would you be willing to look at our Body Love program and let me know, what your feedback of that is? And she said, sure. And then she gave me her opinion, all these different things. Okay, so this is just a really great way of being in communication with people. And then what I will generally do is somebody like Tashi, I will go and look at who she's following. Okay, this is a great way of finding new people, is by looking at who people that you're prospecting are friends with, because you're what is it, the 2 degrees of separation or whatever. Like generally, if you find someone who is a good fit, that you share values with, and might be a good fit for USANA, so you can see, I like Muay Thai stuff, I like fitness, I like boxing, like we have a lot of things in common. So she's somebody that I connect with sort of on a personal level. And so that means more than likely the people that she follows are going to be similar, right? So this means you're looking at like-minded people. So this is something that I do every day, is I find somebody that I've been prospecting, and I look at the people that they're interacting with, and I will communicate with them. And what has happened with Tashi is I've actually signed up two of people that are sort of in her circle in USANA, and that has gotten back to her. So I've connected with her personally. We've shared a little bit, and then because I've sort of, it's called fishing off of somebody else's peer, right? So I'm prospecting in her own social circle with like-minded people. Some of them have been interested, and now that gives me the opportunity to go back and talk to Tashi.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's very, I can see that, because, and then what happens is before you realize it, 5, 6, 7, 8, and that whole community will end up coming towards you, Sana. And they're all like-minded people. So you're targeting people who value what USANA has to offer. You're targeting people that are aligned with your values, and then it creates a constant, a common connection. So the trust will be high because the values are the same. So
Exactly.
I think that's a great idea.
Exactly. So you can see a lot of these people, they do F45, things like that. Okay. So this lady's mother, entrepreneur, fashion model, she's got another business like that, right? So she does F45. So she's somebody that I would follow and then message Priz. So I would just say something like, Priz, I found your account from a mutual friend, and I can see your content is really inspiring. How long have you been doing F45? I love F45. Been going to the one in Jakarta. Okay, just simple things like that, and they call it, or I call it social circle game, and what that means is like you're networking in different people's social circles, and the value comes long term. So I really see that the value of using social media for prospecting, it can be immediate because you can connect with new people every day, and then there's also like the long term or the long game that you're playing. And this is where the consistency is so important, and posting on your own social media becomes super important. Because if you're just out prospecting every day, but you're not adding new content and you're not engaging with the other people's stuff, the people that use social media regularly, they can see that, right? So they like interacting with other people who like doing what they're doing and using social media. So it's really important that you're on social media regularly, posting your own stuff, posting in stories, posting on your page, and interacting with other people's material.
Yeah, I'm doing it right now. I've got a few people in the US. I've been connecting with people who have got influence right into help. So some of them are just replying back. So I was going to try and connect them, and then I can connect them with Inter.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing how you can do this. I'll show you.
You can do it in different. So you can work in different countries and different markets. That's why you can target different areas. It's quite amazing.
Totally. Like I know, for example, Alessandro's he's in Bern. Is it Bern? Anyway, I'll go to CrossFit Bern. That's probably not good. That probably comes to something else. So he's in Switzerland, right? So I could literally go to CrossFit Switzerland and find some of these people that are on here and connect with them And if they're open, which most people are open, so you can see here she's already an affiliate for somebody else, right? So if they're open, I can connect them and then introduce them to Alessandro. So I've been doing it all the time. So just so you guys know, right? When I recommend that you prospect people that are like you. Like for example, Apple is, you're into pound fit, you're into dragon boating, you're into um, what kind of dance? Some kind of dance that you do?
I'm retired, but I was doing hip hop
Yeah,
dancing.
yeah, but you're coming out of retirement, right?
Nope, I'm still in retirement.
Yeah, you're coming out of retirement. So anyway, so that's a really good example of, hip hop dance, pound fit, like, you just use those hashtags to find people that are like you. And I personally like, you can see here, she's got 3,400. Okay. I kind of like this range. So somebody's like 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, somewhere between like 2 and 10,000, something like that, are generally people who are, they haven't gotten so far into influencer status that they're like demanding money and stuff all the time. So they're people that, they are building their social media. They like social media to share their message, but they're not using social media as a strictly business platform per se. So I sort of like this range of people. Let's see, pound fit. What city are you in, Apple?
Rockville.
Have you looked much at the pound fit community in Rockville?
Don't think there's any in Rockville.
Pound fit, what's close to you?
You can put Maryland or Virginia.
Is pound fit is like popular, right?
Yeah.
It's huge in Indonesia, by the way. It's really grown big time. So that would actually be a thing that you could look at for yourself, Apple.
Yeah.
So pound fit.
Just put Pound Fit USA.
Oh, there's something, I'm missing something. Strange. So anyway, you're in Rockville, and here's some fitness type things. Have you done much of this, Apple?
I've done a little bit, not much.
And do you post on your Instagram?
I have not been lately, no.
I noticed that I know that you interact with mine, but you're not really posting on your own, right?
Right, I have not really been active.
Okay. So here's a guy, he's a trainer. He posts a lot. So he's got 5,000 posts, 4,000 followers. So he's somebody I could easily, like, hey, bro.
Well, that's what they're saying. You target, if you try and connect with people with around about 2,000 to 5,000 names, they're more open to interacting because they're trying to build their platform. So they're trying to build a network. When it's people at 20,000, 30,000, 40,000, they're usually already got sponsors and they're less open to personal communication. They still can, but I get told there's a sweet spot between 2,000 and 5,000 the interaction and engagement with people is a lot higher. So if
Yeah.
you bring somebody into your business who's got a lot of influence, then they can also get a lot of success fast because they've already got a powerful following.
Yeah, so for somebody like this, I would say, hey, bro, your content is epic. I can see that you're really helping a lot of people transform their health. How long have you been coaching with people? Just something simple like that. Like I would say that the return rate on these types of communications are really high.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, if if they had 10, 15,000 people, the chances of the person responding are usually pretty low because they've got somebody else who's like managing their account, or they have so many people hitting them up about random stuff. They don't respond back. So for somebody like this, I would go in and generally like a couple of their photos.
So Nathan, maybe if you actually book in a session with Apple to actually go into the Instagram date together, we
Mm-hmm.
can actually start. I think that would be good. Then you get the feel for it, and then that will create some results for sure.
Yeah, we have that time on Sunday night, Apple, where we can actually just do this together.
Yeah.
So anyway, I wanted to show you guys just
And
kind
then
of.
once you've got engagement,
Mm-hmm.
so once you've got the engagement, then what you're doing is Apple, you're edifying Nathan is expanding with a project in that area wherever the person's living, and then what would they, and it's online, and then you set up a discovery call. So you don't tell them everything about your Sana. You just say, look, I don't know if this is for you, but there's a project getting expanded in your area. We're looking for some key people to partner with. I don't know if this is for you, but if we catch up for a quick chat, we can get to know each other. Maybe we can do some collaboration together. People are quite interested just to engage. You don't need to tell them everything. You just need to see if they're hungry or they're open. They'll always be curious to go more. And if they're not, then it's not the right person. So basically, you're just asking people if they're looking. And if they're looking, they'll say yes. They'll at least check it out. And then you end up just booking appointments. And then Nathan can talk. And then you qualify the person with a discovery call. And then after that, you take the either more interested, you take them through the information, or they're not interested, and it's not a big deal. You just move on to the next person. So it's a very easy way of fishing for people, looking for the people who are looking, not just trying to convince everybody.
Yeah, that's why I think it's so amazing. If you're on social media each day doing a little bit of this engaging, then you don't have to be so direct with people, because you're just constantly building relationships, and the organic time to invite them to take a look at something, it just happens automatically when you're in communication with them regularly, right? You don't have to really rush it. So I'll just show you here. This is a guy. He's obviously he's in Indonesia. So I would usually break this up into two messages, just for the sake of as an example, I'll just show you. So he asked me, how I'm doing, and like that, right? He's a personal trainer. So I say, I'm doing well. Thanks for asking. Hey, are you a personal trainer? I have a friend that has a health company, and she's looking for personal trainers to help her expand. Are you open to new opportunities? Okay, very simple, very easy. I'll probably, almost guaranteed he'll say yes. And then I can introduce him to Mia, Jennifer, or any of the people that are in my team I can introduce them to him because he's mainly Indonesian speaker. Okay, so you can see I talk to him in English. He speaks to me in Bahasa. So I use Google Translate. I always use whatever language that they dominantly use. Okay, so just like that, I'll ask him, I'll let him know, hey, I have a friend who's growing a health business. They're looking for, now if he was a yoga instructor, I would say, you know, she's looking for yoga instructors to help her expand. Are you open to new opportunities? Like that. So I will always edify somebody else and then let them know that I have a friend who's growing a health company and they're looking for, you know, whatever they are, pound instructors, personal trainers, GPs, physios, it doesn't matter, right? Whatever that person is, I can say honestly, right? Because I'm not lying, I'm not being manipulative, you know what I mean? I'm actually just I'm being open and honest and transparent with the person. I have a friend who's expanding a health company. She's looking for physios in, you know, you can even say, you know, if they're a physio from Rockville, you know, for example, Apple, you could say, I have a friend, Nathan, who's a nutritionist from Maryland. He's actually looking for physiotherapists in Rockville to help expand into that market. You know, would you be open to talking to him about the project? Something like that. And I guarantee you, you know, well over 50% of the people that you communicate with that, especially if you've already built a relationship with them, they're going to be interested. Because you're not being pushy, you're not trying to be salesy, like you're building a relationship and then you're just offering a referral. And it's a very easy, natural process. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So I'll show you another guy. So it's so interesting how this works. Like once you're used to using social media. So I was on LinkedIn. I'll just show you. I was on LinkedIn, which I also use regularly. And I met this young woman she's a nutritionist. And I said, hi, I'm Nathan. I'm a nutritionist and entrepreneur from America, living in Southeast Asia since 2009. I'm looking for other health professionals to collaborate. Your profile caught my eye and I thought we should connect. Let's have a chat and explore synergies. So she said, hi, my name's, you know, I'm a nutritionist from Indonesia. Hey, thanks for your message. How long have you been a nutritionist? What are you doing now? So she shared, I'm a fresh graduate, internship, promoting nutrition. My country, I don't really know what she means by that, but she said, I'm basically, she's saying I have like a business, I think, with my friend. And then she sent me his profile. So I said, oh, wow, okay. And I went on Instagram, found him immediately. Hey, bro, how are you? You're a nutritionist. I met your friend Alda on LinkedIn. I'm running a nutrition company from America as well. Hello, sir. Yes, I am. Fresh graduate, blah, 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 blah. And then I said, what's a nutripreneur? Because he had that on his profile. Well, it's about being an entrepreneur with a nutrition-based product. So I'm like, wow, okay. I'm also that, right? So I'm building up this connection with him. And so there's these just, you know, when you're just meeting people and you're looking for ways to collaborate and find synergies, it's oftentimes not necessarily the person that you're talking to that's going to be the person that's the best person for you to work with, right? That person has a circle of influence and a community that they're working within. So, you know, if you can build a relationship with that person, then a lot of times, you can find somebody that's in their social circle or somebody that they're connected with, like that, right? So I would say to this guy, what kind of nutrition product are you working with? Is it a specific brand? Okay, so the old model of doing sort of network marketing and being spammy would be like, oh, this, you know, he says, about being an entrepreneur with a nutrition-based product, right? So the old model of doing this would have been, I would just immediately start talking about USANA and are they looking for an opportunity and like that. You know what I mean? But this way, it's a little bit more of a slow play, but it's much more natural. Like it's the same way that you would interact with another human being if you met them at a coffee shop or at like at an event or whatever. You know, if you're on social media consistently and you're just having conversations with people on a human to human level, then you don't need to be just, you know, pitching people all the time. Does that make sense?
I also think that it's time consuming if you get too many conversations. You don't need to have a conversation with somebody too long.
Right.
You actually can get straight to the point, because if you have a conversation too long, there's a sweet spot when you go past it. Then it's inauthentic. So you have to get that everybody's got a level of an agenda to communicate. So the faster you get to what your agenda is, the more authentic it will be taken. If you communicate too long with somebody, and then the people sometimes will feel later that you just strategized them and then you wasted a lot of time. So you don't want to waste too long a time interacting and building rapport. You want to do a little bit, and then you create an invite, because we're really there to go, are you open to an opportunity? You don't want to take months to get to that point. It's a little bit too long. So you don't want to go too early. So you need to kind of look at it, but maybe 7, 8, 9, 10 interactions, and then pop a question. And you don't want to go too long, and you don't want to go too early. So there is a sweet spot where it's authentic. You're kind of getting to know them a little bit. They're actually open to engagement. And then you just pop the question, and then you move on. And if they're no, then you don't need to keep playing that game. And you can, if they're not interested, you just say, do you know anybody in your area that may be interested to, and then you can share a little bit about what we do. So you might get a referral if they're not interested. But there's a certain amount of time. If you go too far, it gets a little bit weird.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, Simon Chan and Jared probably got it from Simon Chan, but Simon Chan says 2 to 3 messages, and then you share the invite. So with this person, for example, like I asked him, obviously the questions I'm asking him there's a purpose, right? We're not just talking about the weather, right? I'm asking him, are you a nutripreneur? He shares that. I'll ask him what kind of product it is. And then based on whatever his next comment is, I'll basically transition into talking about USANA because it's natural. So that's pretty easy. I'll just show you another example. So here's a guy that I met. He was a referral from somebody that I did a Facebook Live with. Instagram Live with. So he's a doctor, and he's got a running community called Keto Do Run. Anyway, it's this community of doctors who are super into fitness. And so somebody introduced me to this community. And so he's an OBGYN and a gynecologist. And he's also a runner, gym enthusiast, daddy. He's into triathlons, right? Like, so a lot of stuff that I'm also into. So I started talking to him right away. Hey, I see that you're an OBGYN and that's into fitness and lifestyle. Yes, that's amazing. And then I saw Siaga is the group that introduced me to him. I saw that you were on Siaga's post, so I thought I'd introduce myself and see if you're open to other opportunities as well, right? So that's only 2 messages. So that's Carmen Marshall, who most of you are aware of now. She calls it exploding the bomb up front. And what that means is, you don't have to be spammy and like so direct that you don't have any social intelligence. But it also, exactly what William was saying, people like it when you're transparent, right? So you build a little bit of connection, you give them a compliment, and then you ask them a question. That's the basic formula that I follow. You connect,
And the
compliment.
compliment,
Yep.
the compliment is also authentic because you're looking at what you like about the person, and it's, you know, like if somebody's very analytical and accurate person, you don't say, "Oh, you're amazing with people," because that's really inauthentic because the person's like a robot. So, but if the person's very accurate and detailed orientated, then you can compliment them on that because that's authentic. You want to make sure you're just not flattering people. You want to make sure it's whatever you're complimenting is what you observe about them. So the lovely clothes, nice, whatever, but it has to be authentic because they'll agree with you because they already know that. So it's just building a warm connection. So you're taking somebody from cold to warm, and obviously you want to heat that up a little bit towards the hot, but if it's genuine, you would definitely increase that faster.
Yeah. That's why this why I personally like Instagram, because people just show everything. They just show their whole life, you know, so you have so much information to work with and to build connection with. Whereas in some of the other platforms, you kind of have to guess a little bit or ask questions, things like that. So I just wanted to show you guys, like I connected, we talked, talked about performance and recovery. I asked him if he had heard of USANA. He said, of course. USANA, as I know, is a nutrition company. Exactly. So I wanted to talk to him about the possibility of working together and growing the business together. So he said, sure, that must be possible. Good nutrition is also my concern. So I just want to show you, like we were talking a little bit, and then obviously he got busy. Okay, so he said, hey, sorry, just open your messages. I said, no problem. And then this is an easy way of, this is how you use different like stories and different ways to communicate with people, right? So if you're talking to somebody and it's going well, and then they get busy, which, you know, the people generally that you want to work with, they're already busy people. So it's understandable. If you comment on their stories, it immediately goes into their inbox. So it's a great way of, like, you know, not having to just constantly follow up with someone when they're not communicating back, which can be, you know, it can show up as a little bit needy. But if you message on somebody's story, then it immediately shows up in their DM that you commented on the story, and you can just spark up a new conversation. And 9 times out of 10, they weren't ignoring you. They just got busy. You know what I mean? They just got tied up. So here's another doctor who's an OBGYN that we interviewed at USANA, right? So I asked him, hey, do you know this guy? He's one of the well-known sexologists in Indonesia. I'm like, yep, we should do a healthy talk show with you. He's like, yes, that would be good. So you can see, you know, sometimes if people don't get back to you, it's never personal, you know, so find creative ways to follow up with people. Okay. So, you know, especially people that have already expressed interest, they've been in communication with you. If they go out of communication, it doesn't mean they're not interested anymore. It just means that, you know, they got tied up, they got busy, whatever. So find creative ways like this to stay in communication with people. Does that make sense?
For sure.
So I'll just show you one more example. It's 8:53. So here's another example of, okay, I've identified somebody who is I would say what William would call it, he's a 5-star prospect. Okay, and a 5-star prospect means in the 5 areas of people that we're looking for, he really hits on all 5 of the areas. Okay, so you can see he's a family oriented person. He's into health and fitness. He's a doctor. You can tell that having having a good body and being healthy. The excellence is obviously one of his core values. And he's also, he's using social media. So he's quite a connected person that's not afraid to, to do some self-promoting. Right. So once I've identified this person is a very, very good, he's kind of an ideal prospect. Okay. Now, what I would do is I would take this person's profile and I would start investigating who are the people that he's connected to. So one way to do that is if you look at people's posts, oftentimes if they're doing fitness and stuff, they'll do it with other people. Let's just see. So it's a great way of, again, using their social circle to meet people that are like them. So sometimes what they will do is, for example, they'll tag people in their posts. Okay. So, okay, this personal hygiene. Okay. So if I look at this person, oh, this is a company. So if this was a person, for example, that's in a post with them, it's a great way of interacting with people that are like them. Like I happen to know, for example, this community is a community of doctors that run. Okay, so once I've really built a strong connection with this guy, and let's say we do an Instagram live where I interview him on his opinion about exercise and the impact on heart health. Okay, now I've connected with this guy in a really powerful way, and I've given him a platform, right? So I built that connection with him. Now when I go into this community, this Kidodo Run, which is a community of running doctors. Okay, this is a whole community of people who are ideal candidates. Okay, so now when I'm meeting people in here, I've already built a strong relation with Dr. Adi. Okay, so if I'm communicating with these people, as I'm communicating with them, see, dermatologist, loves running, like this. Okay, so I would, for example, follow this person and start communicating with her, and then I would at some point say, I love running as well. I got introduced to this community through Dr. Ade, and then immediately I've built a relationship with him, and I'm using that as social capital to then build connections with other people. Okay, so it's not exactly like name dropping, but you're networking within social circles the same way that you would if you're at a cocktail party, but you're doing it on social media. Okay, so this is just
about trust, because they could see that you're connected to other people, that they may have a level of trust.
Exactly. So it's just a great way of don't get stuck in, just trying to prospect and pitch people, about USANA. Really have the intention of building connections and building deeper connections and relationships with people, because they will introduce you to other people. Right? I'll give you one more example before we finish up here. There's a guy named, I met this guy 2 years ago. Okay, I can't even remember. I think I might have met him on Tinder. So this is a guy who is a personal trainer in Lombok. Okay, I've built this connection with this guy and really stayed well connected. You can see, we've been messaging back and forth for a long time. Okay, so we met, well, this says 2019, but I met him on Tinder. We moved to WhatsApp, and then I also met him on Facebook. Okay, I've just built connections with this guy. He posted on my stuff. I commented on his stories. We stayed in communication. I flew to Makassar, which is close to where he is. Anyway, long story short, I have actually introduced him. I finally have an associate who's in Lombok, which is sort of in his area. I introduced him to a woman named Jennifer, who's in my business. And on like 2 days ago, they met with the director of KONI, which is one of the biggest sports councils in all of Indonesia. And now I think William is going to be on a webinar with Charles, who's our general manager, and the sports council in that area. And there's going to be 26 different athletes that are in that community who are going to be connected to what we're doing at the moment. Okay, there's no way for me to know all that time ago that this is what this is going to turn into. But this is when they say the fortune is in the follow-up. And earlier I said find creative ways to stay in communication with people. It's so important that you build these relationships, because I've not met this guy, but I can say honestly that we're like friends. We talk about different training things together over the years, and now it's turned into what's potentially a really phenomenal opportunity for me, but also for him. So I've found a way that I can incorporate him in what we're doing, and he's introduced me to some really powerful people. So anyway, that's just an example of how you can build connections with people, stay in touch with them, and use social media not just as a platform to prospect and pitch people about USANA, but as a platform that you can build relationships and turn that into something amazing.
It's awesome. Yeah, Jennifer contacted me yesterday and told me about the lead set